Welcome to BP Mindcast. I'm Jonathan Bartlett, your host. These podcasts cover a wide variety of topics from a conservative academic viewpoint. Some you'll find interesting, some you won't. However, I plan on keeping these short enough that you can easily enjoy what you like, and hopefully I won't keep you too long for those that you don't. Today we're going to talk, actually this is going to be a series of talks over the next couple podcasts about the political spectrum. So a lot of people are somewhat confused over the differences between conservatism and libertarianism. And so I just wanted to talk about conservatism, libertarianism, and liberalism from my perspective, and why I think conservatism is actually the best approach. So today, what I want to talk about is I want to talk about the role of responsibility, because this is something that is very different in the different political philosophies. So first of all, I want to say that in general, I don't view, I don't believe in conservatism because it's in the middle of libertarianism and liberalism. I think instead I view it more like, if you imagine conservatism being the ideal, then liberalism and libertarianism are both different types of degenerations from the ideal. I don't mean that as a put down. I just mean that I'm not viewing it as, if you have two extremes, then you should take the center path, because that's not my viewpoint on pretty much anything. Sometimes the center path is correct, but usually that's because the other paths are degenerations from the correct path. Just because something's in the middle doesn't give it any particular reason to be praiseworthy or blameworthy. So in the area of politics, I want to talk about the role of responsibility, and the role of responsibility in public life. And this is one area where I think really shows the difference between the way that conservatives, liberals, and libertarians think. So to begin with, for libertarians don't believe that you have any responsibility that you did not explicitly agree to. So if you did not make an explicit agreement that you are responsible for X, there is no possible X for which you might have some responsibility. And that's generally the libertarian viewpoint. So libertarianism is based heavily on contract law. And so if you did not, and so although there's other ways to get a responsibility other than a formal contract, basically if you didn't tell someone and contract with someone, yes, I'm responsible for this, then you have no responsibility for it whatsoever. On the liberal side, on the other hand, we have all sorts of responsibilities. However, you individually don't have many responsibilities. The responsibilities is on us as a society, but you yourself, you don't actually have to do anything. And so that's kind of where the two, the liberal and the libertarians stand. Conservatism is based on personal responsibility, that you yourself have definite responsibilities that have nothing to do with whether you want them or not. That you are responsible for a great many things in your life that you may not have asked for, you may not have wanted it, but nonetheless, it's there. And so this responsibility comes out in a lot of different practical ways. But I want to talk about it mostly in generalities today. So for example, if you imagine, let's say that you're walking by a lake and you see someone who is drowning, and you have, like, let's say there's a rope right next to you that you could throw them. Okay. So for a libertarian, they would not believe that you have any public responsibility to throw that person a rope. That is, they might think that you should do it as to be a good person, or morally you should do it, but they would not view that society has any reason to punish you if you choose not to throw that person a rope. That it's entirely your choice. You had no binding from anything else that was requiring you to throw that rope. the fact that it doesn't take you any time or any effort to throw the rope, the fact that the person is going to die without it, and you can see that, none of that actually matters, because there was nothing that compelled you to. You didn't do anything to bind yourself to that responsibility. So therefore, you do not have that responsibility, at least in a legal sense. Conservatism, on the other hand, um, conservatism views that as that you do in fact have responsibilities that you didn't ask for. If you are walking by a lake and you see someone drowning, and you are easily capable of saving them with no cost to yourself, there is there's no real ambiguity there. You have a responsibility to help that person, and in fact, this responsibility is so strong that it actually it's a public responsibility. The society can hold you responsible, or specifically, if you prefer, government can hold you responsible if you fail to enact that responsibility. On the other side, for liberals, liberals tend to view all responsibility as being corporate. They're corporate responsibilities. We don't have individual responsibilities. This is why liberals don't tend to emphasize family very much legally, because uh, families are very individually oriented in their um, individually oriented in their responsibilities. The For liberals, they want to take all of the things that family gives you and spread it around to society in general. So, for example, if you think about, families generally take care of the elderly in their family. Well, so what liberals will do is they want to have Social Security or other retirement plans so that society takes care of the elderly, not the family. And so you wind up, while libertarians would deny that there were any responsibilities uh, that exist at all, liberals would deny that individuals have that responsibility. They would simply say that society has that responsibility. And so basically it shifts from being something that individuals are supposed to do to being something that government is supposed to do. And so conservatism, I hold to conservatism because I think that we do in fact have responsibilities, um, for a number of reasons. One of which is that we aren't even we don't. There's a lot of things about ourselves that we don't own. We didn't uh, we didn't decide to come into existence. We owe our existence outside ourselves. Not one of us came to life on our own choice. Um, so that means that we owe, at the very least, to our parents we have responsibility. To God we have responsibility. These are things that they are the ones that gave us life. They're the ones that raised us, and so we actually have natural responsibility to those parties. But I think in general, as society, we have responsibilities, and we didn't have to ask for them. They are just the very basis of being alive and being in community and being human. Give us responsibilities. And then, if you are pregnant, you have responsibilities to the baby. If you're a dad, you have responsibilities to your children. You have responsibilities to your work. It's not strictly contractual. Your responsibilities aren't limited to what's specified in the agreement. You have general responsibilities. If you get rich, you have responsibilities as being a rich person in your community. Now, not all of these responsibilities should be covered by law, but we should have a social understanding that these responsibilities exist. And some of them, if certain people have a habit of not following through on their responsibilities that we can recognize that they have, then yes, maybe we need to make some laws to be more specific, to clarify the responsibilities that people have. But basically, if you become powerful through legitimate means, that actually adds to your responsibilities. You may not have asked for the responsibility, but if you have power, then that gives you not only freedom to to use your power also gives you responsibility in using your power. And so in conservatism, there are a lot of things that you have um, responsibility for, a lot of responsibilities that come with whatever your position in life happens to be. And you didn't ask for those, you didn't sign up for those, they just exist. And so that is one of the main things that I think sets conservatism apart, is our belief in these responsibilities. And as I said, not all of them have to be encoded in laws, but they are understood within society, and they might need to be encoded in laws if people are not following through on the responsibilities that they have. So anyway, until next time, I hope you enjoyed your time here on BP Mindcast. Until next time, keep thinking.